This week for assisted algebra, we're going to be looking at ratios, rates, and proportions. Most of the work that we'll be doing will be on a calculator. So you're either going to want to pull out your calculator or you're going to want to open one on desmos.com/scientific. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my Desmos calculator here. Again, that's desmos.com/scientific. And for C.3, we're just looking at unit rates. So they're going to give us something per something, and we want to figure out how much it would be for one of those. For example, 32 kilometers in 2 hours, and we want to figure out how many there would be in 1 hour. So we would take that 32 and we would divide it by 2, and that gives us 16. We can take on the next one 33 liters in 3 minutes, so we want to take that 33 and divide it by 3, and that gives us 11, so we get 11 liters per minute. And that's all that C.3 is really ask us to do. The only way this gets a little bit harder is when we have bigger numbers. So if we have 975 flowers in 65 vases, we have to take that 975 and divide it by 65. But again, you're going to want to use your calculator to do the heavy lifting on this one. So that was 975 divided by, let's make this smaller so we can see what we're doing, 65. That is not working. Let's delete this. So we've got 975 divided by 65, and that's going to give us 15. And so that means there are 15 flowers in every vase. And again, we see the same thing, 1,760 orders in 110 days means we take that 1,760 and we divide it by 110. So let's go ahead and do that over here, clear this out. So 1,760 divided by 110. And that gives us 16. So that tells us that for the purposes of this, they could do 16 orders per day. Now, C.4 does the exact same thing, except for now it's using money instead of not money. So for this first one, a 4-pack of dish towels costs $11.80. So we want to take that $11.80 and divide it by the 4 that's in there. That's going to give us $2.95 per towel. And we can see the same thing happens on the next one. We're going to take that $25.38, and since it's a pack of 9, we're going to divide it by 9. Let's go back to our calculator here. And we take that $25.38 and we divide it by those 9 jump ropes. And that tells us that each jump rope costs $2.82. One way you might see these problems get more difficult on C.4 is they'll ask you which one is the better buy. So for example, is it better to buy 2 ice cream sandwiches for $1.22, which gives us a cost of 61 cents per ice cream sandwich? Or is it better to buy a 6-pack for $3.54? So we take that $3.54 and divide it by 6, which gives us a cost of 59. So in that situation, we see that the 6-pack is a better deal because it costs 59 cents instead of 61 cents. But don't always pick the bulk one. Like if we look at the next one, we can take the green peppers. They cost $1.34 for 2, which means it's 67 cents per pepper. Whereas a 6-pound bag is $4.08, so we take that $4.08 and divide it by 6. And in this case, it's 68 cents per pepper. So the 2-pound bag is actually a better deal. So you want to make sure that you actually divide those to see which one is the better deal. A third thing you might see with these is that it might ask you to round. No reason to freak out. Just think about what our regular rules of rounding are. If we have a 2-pack of envelopes, we're going to take that 35 cents and divide it by 2. Whoops. And that's going to give us 0.175. And we remember our rules of rounding. If the number next to the place value, right, is 5 or greater, then this number is going to go up. So we would round this to 0.18. If that 5 was a 4 or lower, we would leave it as 0.17. So just reminding ourselves about the rules of rounding. Now in C.5, we have some straight calculator problems. All we're going to do is multiply and divide, multiply and divide. So if we think about what we know about proportions, we're going to multiply these two numbers, the ones that are opposite each other, like kitty corner. So we take 40 times 28. And then we're going to divide whatever we get, 40 times 28, 1,120. And we're going to divide that by the other number, in this case, 35. And this is just straight calculator, right? So we get S equals 32. Over here, we look and see what two numbers are diagonal from each other. We see it's 455 and 568. And again, we're just looking for you to take out your calculator. We multiply those, and then we divide by 710, which is going to give us 364. So first we multiply those cross numbers, and then we divide by the number that's across from the letter. Same thing looking at here. We say, okay, which ones are diagonal from each other, and we multiply those, so we get 10 times 18, which gives us 180. We divide that by 15. 180 divided by 15. We use our calculator, and we get 12. Over here, we're going to multiply the numbers that are on the diagonal, so 7 times 18. That's going to give us 126. We're going to take that and we're going to divide it by 42, which gives us 3. Again, just straight calculator practice here. The final type of proportion problems you'll see are actually word problems. So these, we're just going to set these up just like our other proportion problems. Here we can see we have 4 plants with 2 seed packets. So we're going to do plants over seeds. You could absolutely do it the other way, put seeds over plants. Nothing bad would happen. But since we do have plants on top and it's 4 plants and 2 seeds, we would want to make sure to put the 4 and the 2 like that. And then we want to know how many seed packets Vijay need to have a total of 20 plants in his backyard. So 20 is also a plant. And so we would set this up with X. So here we solve proportions just like we did in C.5, where we multiply the two that are kitty corner to each other, or 20 times 2. And then whatever we get, we're going to divide that by 4. So 20 times 2 is 40. Divided by 4 is 10. And so that tells us there are 10 seed packets that he would need. Same situation here. We see that Vince consumes calories by eating granola bars. So we're going to put calories on top and the bars on the bottom. So 276 calories from 3 granola bars. And we want to see how many he would have to consume to get 552 calories. So the bars are unknown. So we would take that 552 and multiply it by 3. 552 times 3. And then we would take that and divide it by 276, giving us a total of 6. So he would need 6 granola bars. Same thing here, nothing changes with difficulty. We can see Dakota has liters of jam and how many days it took her. So here we're going to use liters over days. And again, you can flip that as long as you then flip the numbers. So we have 6 liters in 2 days. And we want to figure out how long it's going to take her to do 9 liters. So X, the unknown, is the number of days. So we multiply on the diagonal again, 2 times 9. which gives us 18. So we're multiplying those. And then we divide by the other number, in this case 6. 18 divided by 6 is 3. So we know that it would take her 3 days to make 9 liters of jam. And that's everything that you need to know about proportions for this week. We are going to continue working with proportions and direct and inverse relationships next week. So it's really important that you really nail down how to do these different proportion skills this week.